Here is Patrick Johnston of the Province and Post Media. A fantastic couple of weeks ago, I ran into Patrick and his family at Nat Bailey. Had a wonderful time with his lovely wife, Candace. Love her cakes.
Love his golf shirt.
And his friends, his children as well. How are you?
Yeah, well, the boys, I think it was Luke and Marshall that got a picture with you anyway.
Wow.
Ago.
Is it in the living room yet?
It was cooking. It was absolutely cooking at the Nat. Whatever not this weekend, but the previous.
Yeah,
one. Was that,
there were some hot. Yeah, there were some hot afternoons.
There was a hot Sunday. I managed to get the girls through. Actually, watched 2 innings. I've made it to that point in my parenting life. The girls will actually sit and sort of pretend they care.
Next year, we're looking to do 3 or 4. Okay, let's get to the sushi races at some point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. They're into the sushi race. Chicken Dance has some of
They'll stay in the park. They just won't watch as much baseball. They'll be at the bouncy.
Well, I mean, that's been true. When are we getting ice cream?
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's a guy in our section who's taking bets on the sushi races. So
I bet. I believe it.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
always bet wasabi. Okay, so we have much to discuss here because it's been a while since, at least since I've talked to you. But we have. Well, we have Quinn Hughes being asked about Jim Rutherford's comments about the Hughes brothers playing together. Mm-hmm. And the answer from Greg Wyshynski is, I don't know. Jim's a smart guy. Jim's doing, what he wants to do. I've got a lot of respect for Jim, so I'll just leave it at that. Doesn't sound like the happiest boy.
No. I mean, I was talking about this a few people off air. So, I imagine this is a point will need to be made by others, but I mean, there's a few things to think about. First of all, you get as Blake points out, Jack Hughes yesterday said we're not talking about it all day. We're just talking about it every day. Right? Now, were we going to talk about this whether Jim Rutherford had brought it up or not? I think we would be, because it's like we knew about his future. It was certainly something that came up, and I think I talked about. Like, think about Rick Tocchet's departure, framing how he, what he might have been thinking, right? Like, you look at where Quinn Hughes is going to be a year or two from now. Like, is it a given he's going to be here? He doesn't have to be. He can go wherever he wants. The extension comes next year. Connor McDavid, that's literally going to be a discussion point all season, right? This is what happens.
Yeah.
Kaprizov, like this is how it goes. And the idea, this is just a media, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on. This is what hockey fans talk about. Where is so-and-so going to play? And this, to go back to a year ago, when I talked to Jim Rutherford, and we were talking about, as I framed it correctly, salacious rumors, because there were some ridiculous rumors going around about JT Miller and his family that I just thought were inappropriate and weren't true. It was a thing that he acknowledged people talk about. This is what we do. It's obviously on ice. We want to talk about wins. We want to talk about how we're playing. But fundamentally, the other part of sports is we talk about all the what ifs. That is how this goes. And so, in a sense, was Jim Rutherford getting ahead of that by bringing it up? I suppose. Was he trying to throw a distraction about why Quinn Hughes might leave? I suppose. Is it really about his brothers? I mean, if it comes, we'll have to talk about it. But at the moment, the simple question is, what is Quinn Hughes' future? And listen, was he happy that Jim Rutherford framed about his brothers? I guess we're going to have to ask him now.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Our Redwoods Golf Course poll question today is, did his comments about the Hughes brothers wanting to play together upset you? It's obviously a little bit different for those who cover the team. But do you think this upset Canucks fans in a gratuitous way, like something that unneeded. Unneeded, just we could have all done without?
I suppose. I mean, what do you want? Do you want people to talk or not? Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little different from our perspective, though, from a fan perspective, Patrick, because from a fan perspective, it's, why did you say that? Because now the entire narrative of this season is about Quinn Hughes. Will he stay? Will he go? Whereas if you didn't talk about it, then media types could go ahead and speculate all they want. Exactly. Yeah, but it isn't something that is rooted and front of mind for the team and for its fans throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I actually like that question. And it's good framing. I mean, again, it gives us something to talk about. It was an interesting choice, but Jim Rutherford has never been shy of the truth, and he knows what he's doing, right? Like, that's the other thing. He's been at this long enough, and he's been in this market long enough that he knows what he's doing when he does something like that.
Okay, so you say that, and Quinn Hughes' comments too relate to Jim. Jim's got to do what he's got to do. Jim's doing whatever, or however he said it. Mm-hmm. Are we missing something? Is Jim playing 3D chess? Are we giving him too much credit for playing 3D chess? Like, was there a purpose behind those comments that we don't yet know? And I mean that legitimately because I can't see that, but is there a possibility there?
I'm not sure it's anything beyond President knowing this is going to be a topic, and here's a good question. You know, it's a
we're
good
not
question.
Idiots. We see it. Is that what you're saying?
That to me was as simple as that. Is saying we're not. We recognize what's in front of us, and that's it. Like, it is a challenge. We know it, and you know it's not dissimilar to. Was it summer 2021? Elias Pettersson basically says, "I want to play for a winning hockey team," right? And if you may recall, I called up Jim Benning. I said, "Jim, what do you think?" And he goes, "Well, I get it. This is a player that, of course, he wants to. It's a challenge to us, and we need to deliver. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad for the passion." Now, was he mad that the player said it publicly? Probably. He didn't admit that to me, but players have opinions. Managers have opinions, you know, and fundamentally, people are going to be asking questions one way or another, and as I've always argued, I think, and of course it's selfish too, but I think you are better just to deal in the truth. Talk about what you think, and then people won't run around and hide about it.
If Jim Rutherford ends up trading for Jack and Luke, boy, this is going to be a touchdown spike. It's going to be.
I don't know how they do it, but yeah, exactly.
It's not happening. But can you imagine? He'll be like, "See, I told you. That's why
Jack.
I said that."
Just Jack. I mean, Matt's been talking about Luke Hughes for a month, and I think it keeps showing up on these ridiculous AI-generated stories that I hate that are out there.
Way to go, Matt.
Hold on a second. You're telling me that I'm influencing AI stories on your timeline?
So just say it.
Outrageous
Luke upset with New Jersey Devils.
And I'm like, I know what the source of this is. I click on it, and you're like, oh, God. This crap. Ruining everything. The internet sucks.
That's my reaction to him about everything, basically.
I've never felt so powerful.
Exactly.
I am drunk on my own power over AI.
What have I done?
Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would influence AI.
No.
That would be the other way around.
Nor I.
Thought I had a one-way relationship with AI, but now I'm told it's two.
AI listens to you. For worse. It's not better. There's nothing better about this.
In fact, I saw someone in our comments on the poll question yesterday ask Grok for context, and Grok laid out the context that Blake and I laid out about the poll question on Sidney Crosby. Anyways, we know you have no vision there. We'll move on.
No offense.
He's bigger. He's stronger. Will he be better? Elias Pettersson, what did you see and hear from the guy Monday?
Thanos, as we'll call him going forward.
Thanos. Yeah, next time I say, Petey, how do you feel about your nickname being Thanos? Ooh.
Yes.
Listen, if he comes out, you know, physically stronger and physically prepared, and it plays out, that's awesome, because that's what we all want to see. And what I've seen from him, you know, listen, he was skating around well when I went to see the players skate at UBC last week. He was I think we've gotten used to his, I guess, generously odd self with the media.
Yep.
I want to see him play hockey. That's all that matters. I just want to see delivery, and I think he can deliver. I continue to believe in this. This player has delivered in the past. However he wants to be, just score some goals, man.
Yeah.
Whoever, you know, however you want to get married, however you want it, whatever. Just score some goals, man.
But did you perceive strength to be the biggest shortcoming?
Yes. I mean, strength was an issue. Ability to create space. I mean, that was the other thing. The way he was playing, my conclusion is he'd been scouted out. So the ability to separate, like, he could not separate from players. And this was a guy that had been fast, and he was not fast last year. So if he is indeed stronger in all the ways you need him to be stronger, and that includes shooting as well as skating, that's great. Now, I do think way back to, remember when Brent Sopel showed up way bigger and couldn't move anymore.
Yes.
And
That was
obviously-
that was grotesque, though. Like, it was so
Obviously, yeah, that
bland.
was grotesque. Different
Yeah.
players, obviously,
Yeah.
right? The criticism was he wasn't ready, wasn't fit enough, wasn't prepared enough for the season. And in a season like this, I go back fundamentally.
Different
I go
era,
back,
though. Patrick,
No, I'm just
different
sorry. I'm
era.
talking about- I'm
Like,
back
you
to
could be
Pettersson.
granted block,
No, I'm back to
defenseman.
Pettersson. I'm back to Pettersson. So
Okay.
the criticism last year obviously wasn't fit enough, wasn't prepared, and Jonathan Lekaramaki, the latest to expound upon the challenge of a North American pro season, especially an NHL season. And I talked to him last week, and he said, I felt like I played 2 Swedish seasons in one last year. I have to eat all the time. Now, Pettersson and I have had this same conversation. This is after his, I think his second season. And so the ability to be prepared, the knock-on effect, obviously coming off a longer season where he did struggle, where he was dealing with some sort of knee tendonitis, whatever, it affected his preseason training. Like, it feels like it was a double whammy in the end, that because he couldn't train the way he wanted to, because he didn't come in fit enough, because that meant that he was already behind the 8 ball, and then it is so hard to not just maintain, but let alone recover over the course of an NHL season. And that's why he was so intermittent. I think there can be a case made that. So being stronger, being faster, being fitter, like if all these things prove to be the case, that will stand to his benefit and it will be good for everybody.
And then the question is who he plays with. Where are you on? I think everybody's unanimous that Besser starts this year with Elias Pettersson. The question is on that left side. Are you going all skill? Are you on the all skill with DeBrusk, or are you on the get a mix in and try Evander Kane up there?
I think inevitably it ends up being DeBrusk, but I would, sure. Like, throw Kane in there. I certainly think the way that Pettersson plays maybe suits Kane better, just because Hedl is that much faster naturally. That maybe what Pettersson needs is that bulky winger who can crash the net kind of thing. We'll see. It's a good question. Kane certainly looks strong and is happy and excited and all those the things you want to see.
And it might be opponent dependent, right? If it's a heavier team, you go with Kane. If it's a free flowing game, out of conference game, you go with DeBrusk.
Yeah, and you go and look, and there's always rotation. And will he spend some time with Connor Garland? I'm sure he will spend some time with Connor Garland. Like, there will be guys moving on and off his wing. And Niels Höglander's had success there, right? Like, there is going to be a case of I think it will be, as you said, context dependent. I expect they will try to make Pettersson and Besser a thing to start. I don't think Adam Foote is any different from any other coach, which is that they like to do guys in pairs. Everybody likes to do that now and have a third guy.
Who's the second pair then? Hedl and whom?
Hedl and Garland, I guess.
Hedl and Garland, yep.
We'll see, right? Like Hedl and DeBrusk. Like, there are options here. Sherwood. Like, we know that there's some interesting options in this lineup. That last year's team should have been better than it was, and now this year's the time to prove that what we thought last year is the case, and that 2024 was not a blip. I don't think 2024 was a blip. There was enough there, but they're missing Miller and all that.
It's not fantastical thinking for Canucks fans to be optimistic in that between last year and the year before, if you again, it's proof of concept where you're not asking players to do something they haven't yet. Like we're taking the Ratus and Carlsons out of the actual NHL players.
Yeah.
Based on their performance from last year or the year before, have shown as a group that there's actually depth scoring here if you can be the best of one of those 2 years. Because the guys that were good the one year were not good the next year and vice versa. So, but there is proof of concept at the NHL level for a good 9 forwards at the very least here.
Yeah, like Philip Hedl, statistically, after he showed up, was great. The puck was at the end of the ice he was creating chances. The way he played, you could just look at him. The way he played was different enough. Perhaps that was the reason alone. He attacked the zone in a way that Pettersson certainly wasn't, but was supposed to be. And JT Miller really hadn't been. And so that made a difference. Now, is he a proper second-line center in the long run? Probably not. But he's not a bad player. He's just got to stay on the ice. And that has been a challenge for him over his career.
Demko going to stay on the ice this year? What's the ideal division of goaltending duties starts
Well, I mean, yeah,
as you see it?
I think we've talked about it. I mean, the 50 start idea is clearly where there's at. They're paying Kevin Lankinen to play a bunch. They are not necessarily paying him to be the number one guy, but they are paying for both their goalies to play. And, listen, Demko, I mean, I haven't talked to people around him in a while, but everybody said in the summer when I last did, they're like, no, he's feeling great. Like, he believes he is as physically sound as he's ever been. And the last time he was physically sound, he was a finalist for the Vezina Trophy. So rewind yourself back to there, and that's where they believe he's at. And at this point, I have no reason to discount it, other than the fact that last season he got into a groove. It took him a while to get into the groove. He was looking pretty good. Was not, I think, fully the 100% in terms of how he was playing. I think physically he felt fine, and then he got hurt again. So that remains the concern. It's great that you feel like similar to Pettersson. It's great that you're feeling good. It's great that you're feeling stronger. In the end, this is about playing the game, and let's go see how you do. And I hope you do great. That will benefit everybody. I'd rather cover a winning team than a losing team.
Do you? I think the bigger goaltending question, Patrick, is: does Nikita Tolopilo or Yuri Patera make a start for the Vancouver Canucks this year?
Well,
because that would indicate that Demko or Lankinen, but
has
of
been
course
dinged.
More likely
Yeah.
Demko.
Hey, you use
is
three
missing
goalies.
an extended stretch.
Every team
you think
uses
for
three.
sure?
Yes.
Okay.
you're absolutely going to get a start from a third goalie. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
Always happens.
Really?
Yes, always happens.
How many teams last year started three goalies? The whole
Most.
lot
I
of
think
them?
I would guess all of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you really want me to do, I can look this up. But
I'm going to look it up. You pontificate, I'll look it up. Okay.
okay. But I think the last time you haven't had a third start from a Canucks goalie is, I don't even know.
I mean, the fashion is 5 or 6 these days for some for the teams at the
go
top.
back, I'm just going back through my head because I can tell you, obviously even throughout the COVID seasons, you had 18, 19, you had Demko swapping in for Anders Nielsen as the backup. The year before that was Markstrom and Nielsen, but you had a bunch of starts from Richard Bachman. The year before that, maybe that year, I don't know, but like it's a rare thing that you have not gotten a start from a third goalie.
But a month-long absence can be dealt with. It's anything over that 1 month that is particularly concerning.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
One of these two guys can patch the dam with a single start or a pair of starts from a Tolopilo. Like you can do that.
Listen, I think it was not mistaken. Woodley was on Combo last week, throwing Yuri Patera some love. I mean, Yuri Patera he's
Still
made
there.
NHL starts. He was signed to be an option as the third guy last year.
Yeah,
don't forget about that. And then he got hurt and never played again. So the one thing we know is the Canucks continue to be a place that has good goaltending, has goaltending on the horizon. I wrote this yesterday looking at the Young Stars roster. I mean, obviously Lukaramaki, the top line one, Elias Pettersson, and Wielander as well. But the goalies, there's 2 young goalies going to Seattle this weekend. And both of them are very interesting prospects. Alexei Medvedev, drafted this summer, is as exciting a goalie prospect that they've had Corey Schneider, I suppose. Mm-hmm. He is going. I will say no. Alexei Medvedev is going to play NHL games. Ako Koskinen-Vuo, who is a bit more of a project, but another giant guy, similar to Tolopilo. There are guys there, like Ian Clark sees these guys and goes, these guys are going to play in the NHL. Whether they become full-timers, we don't know. But as has been said, 6 of the 7 guys Ian Clark identified when he was in Columbus ended up making NHL starts. Not all of them became regulars, but those guys all made NHL starts. He's building a similar record here.
Yeah.
Will one of those guys make a start? I have no doubt they will. The reason why, of course, is that will be the interesting reason why. Is it because Demko got hurt again, or is it because Kevin Lankinen got hurt, or somebody got the flu, or yada, yada, yada. But we will see a start from a third goalie. There is no doubt about that. Why is, as I said, will be the question.
The answer is 5.
5 teams did not.
Boston, Calgary, Dallas, St. Louis, Winnipeg, all required solely 2 goaltenders. Wow. So 5 of 32. I mean, There's absolutely a world where the Vancouver Canucks with good health from both goalies.
I guess it's possible.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like put it this way: a lot of the teams that went to a third goalie, it was performance related, right?
Right.
There shouldn't be a performance
No
related
one's
requirement.
suggesting that.
No
Okay.
reason to
Suggesting
expect
that.
All right.
No.
Lastly, you're an author now.
Yes.
It's
We'll
right
talk
there
more, but yes.
over his right shoulder. Everybody, you've written a book on the late great Gino Odjick. Tell us about it.
October 9th, it's out. You can pre-order now on all your see if you can find yourself a Canadian supplier. It was a fascinating project. Was approached, wrote it with Gino's good friend Peter Leach, who was very involved in Gino's life in the last sort of decade of his life. Peter approached me 2 years ago almost, and we really got going in earnest last year, and worked very hard on the sort of side of everything else, and traveled out to visit with his family in Maniwaki at one point. And talked to all kinds of teammates: Stan Smeal, Jeff Courtnall, Cliff Ronning, Trevor Linden, Pavel. Talked to Stu Grimson. Talked to Marty McSorley. Talked to, it was a Sandy McCarthy. It was a wonderful experience. Gino influenced a lot of people. Talked to a young man named Stefan Friday, who runs a Facebook page some people might have seen called Hockey Indigenous. It's also a website. He inspired people far and wide to become leaders, to be involved in their community. Obviously an inspiration to young hockey players. Talked to Wasey Rabbit, recalled the exchange with Ethan Bear, when Ethan scored the shootout winner on the day Gino died. It was you talk about, the idea of never meeting your heroes. And obviously I was young. I was 10 when Gino made his NHL debut, 9 when Gino made his NHL debut. But and so my young, youthful hockey fandom, Gino was one of those guys, and Gino was not a perfect person. But you come to meet them, and a lot of the time they say don't meet your heroes. But this was a guy that I wish I'd known him better. He was a fascinating person. His teammates, the love and appreciation his teammates showed for him was unequivocal. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. We should all hope to make an impact like this.
What's amazing to me is just the circles that he ran in, the people he met, like the life lived. Like, I'm at my desk at the Globe one day, and Gary Mason is a few cubicles over, just cackling. And he puts down the phone. I go, Gary, what was that about? He goes, that was Gino. He met the Pope.
Yeah.
Like, what? He's like, he met the Pope. He was telling me about his day at the Vatican with the Pope.
Well, he was people wanted to be around him, right? Like the energy was great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that by the way, there's I spoke with a couple of his exes, a couple of the mums, the best way to put it, talked about his experience for, better or worse as a parent. But the visit to the Vatican is in the book.
Yeah, great.
I think the story that most stands out, and the one that I'll leave you with, is one I have early on, and it's part of the chapter called "Which One Is Saddam," and it's a story that's been told many times, but I'm not sure it's ever been quite fully explained.
I love the title.
So January '91, give or take, the day of or the day before, with timing and everything, the bombing of Iraq is about to start. Saddam Hussein is in the news. Everybody knows who Saddam Hussein is. And as the story got recounted, there is someone in the stands at the Pacific Coliseum who says Gino is tougher than Saddam. And on the bench, Gino elbows Stan Smeal, goes, which one's Saddam? And the way the story initially got told was that Gino is this country bumpkin who had no idea. How could he possibly not know who Saddam Hussein is? And Scott Morrison relays the story, and everyone thought, but here we are 3 decades later. I put it to Stan Smeal. Did he know? And Stan just looks at me and he goes, oh, he absolutely knew. He said he was grinning on the bench, and it just became a role he was happy to play. Oh, what is that? But you, as I will reveal in the book, not only did Gino known to read like 100 books a year. If Gino sat down and there was a newspaper on the table, that is what Gino was doing. You could not distract him. His old buddy Itchy, Andy DeWatch, his buddy Itchy, would tell me he'd be trying to get him to go do something. He'd be home for the summer visiting in Kitigan Zibi, the beautiful reserve outside Manawaki where these guys all grew up. And he was trying to get him going, and Gino would be locked in on his newspaper, and you could not get his attention until he was done with that.
Even though he knew who Saddam was, still a funny joke.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Still
amazing,
funny.
amazing,
Yeah.
and that's
Still a
who he
funny
was.
joke.
Absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Another quick story about that era was in Sports Illustrated years ago. The Portland Trailblazers had a forward by the name of Ala Abdel Nabi. And when Desert Storm started and the planes were flying, a bunch of NBA guys were sitting around talking about it. One of them said something to another of us, and their god is called Allah. And a passerby said, "Nah, Allah doesn't play guard. He plays forward." Thank you. Until next week.
All right, guys.